The baseball, which I guess I can do purple, is going to be sitting on the table at rest initially. And then the tennis ball, which I'll do in green, is over here, about the same size, but less mass, and is initially moving with some velocity v. And then the baseball here is not moving. All right, so this is the initial moment in time. At the end, all right, so the final moment in time, I have a baseball, which is now moving this way with some V final baseball. And I've got a tennis ball, which is over here, and it says it is moving backwards with some velocity. And again, I don't know how big any of these velocities are just yet. Right, so this would be V final for the tennis ball. And what I'm going to try to do is figure out which of these is going to have a bigger change in velocity using our model for forces that we have been playing around with now for many weeks. And what that model says, these two objects are sitting on a flat table. They hit each other. And so what happens is there's a force by the tennis ball on the baseball. And of course, Newton's third law tells us that the baseball is then going to act a force on the tennis ball in the opposite direction, but of the same magnitude. So if I want to, for example, draw a free body diagram for each object, I could draw one for the baseball, and I would have a force over here, which is the force, it's probably a normal force, on the, let's see, on the baseball by the tennis ball, right? And then I could go over here and draw a similar free body diagram for the tennis ball. And again, it's going to be an opposite force, and it's going to be the same magnitude. So I'm going to try to draw those about the same. And then this is the normal force on the tennis ball by the baseball. Again, these are Newton's third law pairs, so they're equal in magnitude. And what this means is, if I want to think about how each one's motion is changing, I can write down Newton's second law for either object. So for the baseball, F net equals ma. For the tennis ball, F net equals ma. Right, and there's only one force, at least one horizontal force acting on each ball. So I can boil this down to, the normal force acting on the baseball is Fn. And I also know that the masses are different, right? I'll put mass of baseball here. I think I'm using capital B for the baseball. I guess I can use that. Times the acceleration, which I remember from kinematic stuff is dv, right? The change in velocity divided by dt, the change in time. And again, this is for baseball. How about that? Use little b's, like those better. All right, and we can write out a similar expression for the tennis ball, right? We can write n equal to the mass of the tennis ball times the dv t divided by dt. All right. And what's really interesting here is these Fn's are the same in magnitude, right? Those are the same magnitude force because of Newton's third law. The thing that is different here is the mass of the objects, right? The mass of the baseball is bigger, 3 times bigger than the mass of the tennis ball. dt is the same for the two objects, right? However long they are interacting for is the same for both objects, right? It can't be different. So the only other thing that is different here is the change in velocity, dv, for each thing. Right, and so if I'm going to have the normal force be the same on these two guys, and I have a bigger mass of the baseball, then I'm going to need to have a smaller change in velocity for the baseball than I do for the tennis ball. And in particular, because these things are all proportional to each other, nothing is squared or cubed or any other weird sort of functions going on. I know that if the mass of the baseball is 3 times bigger, then I'm going to need the change in velocity of the baseball to be 3 times smaller. All right, that's the only way for all of this to work out.